It's not the disability that defines you. It's how you deal with the challenges disability presents you with. We have an obligation to the abilities we do have, not the disability. As a kid, I really wanted to fit in. Sports became a way for me to gain acceptance. I think this fueled my desire to succeed. I truly believe that difficult times and disappointments can push us to find abilities and strengths we wouldn't know existed without the experience of struggle. End quote, Jim Abbott.
Knew that his team needed an outstanding performance, welcomed the challenge before the game, said he looked forward to that kind of challenge, and boy, did he meet it today.
The Lord has this plan that we live life freely with him, that we would walk with him through the Garden of Eden. And yet, he gives us freedom. Perhaps if we are looking in these verses, we were already made in God's image and likeness. So even that part of what the serpent says is a lie, that you will be like God. They were already like God.
Right one to Sweeney. Now Sweeney belts one into left center field. And it is gone! A home run! And the Royals take the lead here in the 8th inning.
The number one highlight of my day is at 8 o'clock every morning. My bride and whatever kids are still left in the house and are in school, we go to Mass together. The Holy Sacrifice of the Mass, receiving Jesus to the Eucharist. That's the number one part of our day. And the most proud part of my day is after dinner at night when the kitchen's a wreck, our tummies are full, and we sit around the dinner table to pray the rosary as a family.
After original sin happens and man is cast from the garden, how after he removes, we believe that original sin passes generation to generation. When we are conceived and born, we are born with a death sentence. Our very fact that we are alive cries out against heaven. It is baptism that forgives that death sentence. It's baptism that restores us to life with God.
Welcome back, everybody. Meet a 26-year-old athlete on top of the world, on top of his game, living a life that, well, a lot of men only dream about, a professional athlete. Chase Hilgenbrinck shocked fans by announcing his retirement from Major League Soccer's New England Revolution, revealing that he will decide instead to pursue the priesthood. A life-changing decision. Chase is with us now. Good morning to you. Guess we'll call you Father.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Doing well. I guess we'll call you Father, Chase, in a couple of years. I'm assuming you've been playing soccer all your life, right? You and your brother?
That's right. Blaze and I have played from a very young age. We've always been interested in sports and especially soccer, and we've been blessed to both have soccer careers. Blaze and I both played Division I soccer, and I was fortunate enough to go on to play professionally.
But that's an itinerant lifestyle. You're on the road all the time, aren't you?
That's right. It's a lot of travel, but when you're young and you're not married, don't have too many commitments, it's great to be able to travel and see the world.
Yeah, but you're good too. So now you're tossing in this career to start an entirely new one. Chase, how long have you been thinking about the priesthood?
Well, it's taken years. It does. This isn't an overnight decision. It's something that takes some time, a lot of discernment and personal prayer. And, God has loved us so much, and I've felt that love, and I've felt him call me to this. And I feel blessed that he's called me to administer the sacraments to his holy, faithful people.
Indians have not had a man pass first base. Baerga batting .318. And the ground ball is short. Velarde, he did it. He did it. No hitter for Jim Abbott. Jim Abbott throws a no-hitter and shuts out the Cleveland Indians 4-0. Mobbed by his teammates. A big hug from Matt Noakes. Jim Abbott has just no-hit the Cleveland Indians.
mío para no poder hacerlo. Yo decía, no, que yo quiero estar casado, yo quiero tener hijos, yo quiero que mis papás tienen nietos. Tenía cualquier excusa para no hacerlo. Más encima quería seguir jugando al fútbol. Estaba recién empezando el futbolista profesional. Así que después de eso, te digo que en mi vida todo me fue bien. Yo empecé a pololear, digamos, noviazgo.
Ya ves como si salió una palabra chilena.
Es una palabra chilena, ¿cachai? Así dicen en Chile también, ¿cachai? Bueno, empezaba a pololear, a tener una novia, tenía muchos amigos, me iba bien en la cancha, todo me iba bien en el fútbol. Y bueno, hay muchas veces en las vidas de la gente que entre, los hombres que entran del seminario o los que han tenido conversiones fuertes en su vida, que llegaban hasta abajo, llegaban al punto, al fondo y no podían más. Y solamente tenían al Señor que lo iba a sacar de esa situación. Para mí fue muy interesante que fue casi al revés. Yo sentía que estaba encima. Yo tenía todo lo que yo quería en la vida. Tenía todo lo que quería. Y en ese momento, nosotros en 2006, con el equipo de Ñublense, nosotros ganamos el campeonato del fútbol chileno. Y yo pensé, nunca pensaba en ganar un campeonato. Yo había visto el Michael Jordan ganar campeonatos del básquetbol y siempre soñaba con eso. Y yo salía con premios personales también. Y después de toda la fiesta, después de todos los premios, de las cenas, de todo lo que podía premiar, yo me acuerdo una semana después, yo estaba sentado en mi cama, sin poder dormir, pensando, eso es lo mejor que me ha pasado en la vida. Y tenía tanta alegría, tenía paz, pero al mismo tiempo sabía que algo me faltaba en la vida. Pensaba que no quedé satisfecho con eso. Mis planes nunca me iban a llenar. Todos mis sueños no me podían hacer feliz. Que algo faltaba en mi vida. Y justo en este momento yo sentía que yo tenía que hacer la voluntad del Señor. Que tanto tiempo, tantos años que me estaba llamando. Y todos los días yo sentía el llamado. Y yo me acuerdo, justo en aquel momento, yo decía, hay algo de ese llamado. Y voy a tener que responder en algún momento. Todavía no estaba listo para hacerlo. Pero yo decía, en algún momento tengo que responder.
Welcome, everyone, to Maple Syrup number 281, Beauty number 16. This is our final class for 12 days, because next week, we, of course, as I always say, are located at Vandal Catholic, the St. Augustine Center on the campus, University of Idaho, and we follow the spring break format the university does. And so we're off all next week because of spring break. So next time I'll see you is when you all get back, when all of us get back, even if none of us are traveling. So no episodes for a while. Will I maybe post other videos? Maybe, but not class videos.
So what date does that make the next class?
The next class would be March 18th. March 18th. And it's a great question, honestly. Thank you, because it's a good reminder. Always, just if you're interested, check the syllabus on vandalcatholic.com. Anyone, thank you for your support. All the people that watch online. I've been saying this too. It's really cool. I love having the in-person people. It's so awesome. I wish there was 1,000 people in this class, and in-person is always ideal. But it's nice, all the people that are able to watch the episodes later and kind of, be part of the whole experience that way, which is really, Maple Syrup history. And I love that. I love that title. Just Vandal Catholic Intellect, the intellect department here at Vandal Catholic. So it's very familiar. It's very good if you're watching these episodes and whatever to be familiar with vandalcatholic.com, where all the pertinent information will be on. All right. I'm going to shamelessly self-promote, read from my book, The Hippo Lectures, about faith and athletics to begin. Why am I going to do that? Besides the selfish self-promotion, that's like 95% of it. But the other 5% is that today we're talking about 4 personalities. In this class, this is episode 16. The most popular theme actually is saints. Talked about Hildegard of Bingen, did a bunch of the Desert Fathers, did a special episode on Saint Seraphim of Sarov, Saint Benedict, Hildegard of Bingen, Saint Sebastian. We're going to talk about later on Saint Joan of Arc. So saints are probably our number one examples getting at the beautiful, but we've done a little bit with athletics too. I'd say most famously Bo Jackson to date. Episode 5 was all about Bo Jackson. Today we're going to cover 4 personalities, and they are, the title of this episode is Jim Abbott and Friends, or Jim Abbott. That's what I think I'm going to put and Friends. I will once this gets affixed to the normal kind of introduction. Jim Abbott and Friends with a light bulb moment when maple syrup history kind of opens up. But in the title, most likely I'll have Jim Abbott, Mike Sweeney, and the 2 Father Chases. Yes, one of them is our own Father Chase. Father Chase Hilgenbrinck, I'll start talking about him. We'll kind of go in reverse order. Is a fantastic athlete in his own right. Biking, kind of like endurance sports, lifting, all that kind of stuff. And the other Father Chase, Hilgenbrinck, very similarly spelled, soccer player, former soccer player, played at some of the highest levels in the world. Was a great college player, then played professionally in Chile and was played in the MLS for the Colorado Rapids and New England Revolution. Mike Sweeney is a baseball player for the Kansas City Royals. And finally, Jim Abbott was a pitcher for a bunch of different teams. Let me say this now, like in this class, the good, the true, and the beautiful. By this class, I don't just mean the overlay umbrella of maple syrup history. I mean the beauty class this semester. How does watching Bo Jackson hit a baseball, and that's beautiful, lead us to the beauty that is God himself, or Ernest Hemingway's poetry? How does learning about Mozart's music and its beauty lead to God, who's beauty itself? Today's lecture is like St. Paul, and that idea of like competing for a perishable crown to win the imperishable one. Faith and athletics. In fact, in my Hippo Lectures book, that is the title of that chapter, Faith and Athletics. But I'm going to say a couple of things, and let me just like get to the point right away. Father Chase Hilgenbrinck, amazing ora et labora balance of this incredible pastor, very, very brilliant intellectual. People that don't know, I know everyone in this room does, and as St. Augustine does, but he's getting his doctorate at Oxford. Oxford is like, I think it's the most impressive institution in human history in terms of universities, even more so than Harvard and a lot of these very great famous schools. But so our pastor here, Father Chase Hilgenbrinck, is getting his doctorate at Oxford, is also a very, very good athlete, a well-rounded person, which I think is super, super essential in the athletic message. You can be the highest professional athlete, a Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps Olympian, or you could just like to walk at the mall every day with your friends, your retired grandma, whatever. Getting around, using your body, I think enables you off that base to have good things happen to your soul, to your mind. Thomas Jefferson famously said something like, I never sit down to do business and work until I've had my morning walk. So the beauty of Father Chase Hilgenbrinck and his athleticism, genius Oxford man, great athlete. Father Chase Hilgenbrinck, world-class athlete, soccer player, left it all and become a priest. How beautiful. Everyone should know that vocation story. The beauty of Mike Sweeney, Major League Baseball player, hit absolute lasers all over the field, captain of the Kansas City Royals, devout Catholic. You saw in that opening clip that I have on the video, him talking about the favorite thing he does every day is go to daily mass and pray the rosary with his family. Would that we had more athletes, Catholic athlete examples like these men. And finally, Jim Abbott, our last example. Remember, Bo Jackson is not a Catholic. Bo Jackson is not a Catholic. He's a Christian of some denomination. I think Jim Abbott, I don't want to speak false. I don't even know what his religious beliefs or lack thereof are. Why is he included in this episode? Anyone know who Jim Abbott is? Why he's so important? Anyone? Baseball player. What is exceptional about him? He was born with one arm. Jim Abbott is a guy born with one arm. And you've seen in the video now. And again, it's so funny. Like we have this dual time chronology. I'm speaking to everyone in class live. I haven't yet made the video. All of you watching on YouTube later, you saw the opening. Jim Abbott is a guy who was born on his right arm, like with no arm below the elbow, or like right here. Like he had no right arm, no right hand. Just like a nub. How beautiful are the Special Olympics and all these opportunities for people who are disabled to compete? Jim Abbott didn't do that. He went to the normal major leagues and dominated. I mean, it's an incredibly beautiful thing, right? Here's a guy who could very easily say, woe is me. I was born with no hand. I was dealt a bad card, blah, blah. No, that guy's a legend. He gets the major leagues, and the clip about Jim Abbott in the beginning is him throwing a no-hitter. So dominating as a pitcher at a long major league career. Apparently he was a very good football player, quarterback. He's born without one hand. It seems like a pretty serious disability. He had an absolute God-given, God-blessed left arm. Obviously he pitched left-handed, with the one hand that he had. apparently he could hit home runs one-handed. His left hand was so strong. Very, very cool. He's just a fantastic athlete. I think really that it's an interesting mix. Jim Abbott was disabled. He's still alive too. God bless him. He's, I don't know, he's like 60 something. He's still relatively young. He's not like oh, he's 105, or he's, pretty recent guy. His playing career is like 80s, 90s. Jim Abbott's a very interesting mix of being a guy who's disabled, no hand, but I think otherwise he was like a 1% elite athlete. Like he was like 6'5", built like a linebacker, and could throw 95 miles an hour left-handed. I think he was recruited as a quarterback for some schools. Because again, you're a left-handed quarterback, right? With the nub that he had for his arm, you just hold the ball, whatever, right? You throw one-handed. Same thing with pitching. You see in that no-hitter, he would pioneer this technique. It was awesome, where he would hold the glove with his nub right here, pitch the ball, and then immediately switch the glove on his left hand. He had a right-handed thrower's glove that he wore on his left hand. And if he had a comebacker, he got really good at, ball back to him, catch, flip, whatever, pull out and throw. Just incredible. Amazing story. So why?
You said he had a right-hander's glove.
A right-hander's glove. Because,
left hand?
yes, because you always, you always, right. So a normal, a lefty glove, you throw lefty, you wear on your right hand.
Okay.
So a normal glove, 90% of people right-handed, you wear on your left hand. So you throw a right hand, you catch left-handed. He had to wear a glove like a righty because, of course, he'd have to wear on the only good hand that he had. So he would just cradle it here, pitch, flip it onto his hand, field, and then take it off, throw. You got then there's like
And you're also thinking, you don't have, you're kind of constricting your motion too when you're tucked in tight like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if you're throwing heat,
and he did. Yeah, that's so well put. He threw heat. He guy was awesome. And that's today's class. We're just gonna go through these four guys. And really quickly, it probably won't be that super long of a class. I think we've been going very long on Maple syrup history recently. Our Bible class, last class, like an hour and a half, was very long. Just like 90 minutes of biblical exegesis, if you remember, if you're watching online. The parish episode 2 classes ago was super crazy long, an hour and 40 minutes. Today's not gonna be that long. But reading from the Hippo lectures, listen, I'm gonna introduce you to two guys. Not Father Chase Hilgenbrinck. I'll actually start with him, our pastor, and not Jim Abbott. I'm gonna finish with him. But the other two personalities, remember, Jim Abbott and friends, today's episode, Father Chase Hilgenbrinck and Mike Sweeney. So listen, this is from Hippo Lectures, Faith and Athletics, page 45. When we think of Christianity and athletics, what often comes to mind is Tim Tebow and thanking God for championships claimed. Sometimes these two together. These are good things, and there are plenty of Catholic athlete exemplars around us today, like former Major League Baseball player Mike Sweeney, who now runs Catholic baseball camps for kids that include recitation of the Rosary, Eucharistic adoration, and confession, or current Los Angeles quarterback Philip Rivers, and that is no longer current. So this is an article or a speech I gave in 2020. He's now retired, but I digress. Los Angeles quarterback Philip Rivers, a Catholic from Bible Belt, Alabama, who has appeared on the popular EWTN show Life on the Rock, and who has 9 children with his wife Tiffany, or Olympic multiple gold medal winning gymnast Simone Biles, who always makes sure to have a rosary packed in her gym bag whenever an opportunity for prayer might arise. Or Father Chase Hilgenbrinck, who prior to his ordination was a professional soccer player in South America and reached the pinnacle of the sport in the US, Major League Soccer, before retiring at the apex of his career, age 26 years old, to follow a higher calling. One can infer the divine providence at work in Hilgenbrinck answering his vocation to the priesthood while a member of the New England Revolution. Here is a young and successful athlete thriving in Boston, the very epicenter of the clergy sex abuse scandal, and he's going to leave all that glamour behind to become a Catholic priest now, here, end quote. And yeah, right, what a beautiful, God bless Father Chase Hilgenbrinck. I don't know if you guys know, I'm a huge fan of both Father Chases. I've been talking about them all the time. I love both these men so much. They are the absolute legends, both of them. So cool. In fact, I open up the Hippo lectures. I'm gonna read one more selection. This is how much I love both Father Chase Hilgenbrinck and Father Chase Hilgenbrinck. So I open up by saying, I was invited to Moscow to give a talk about Walker Percy, Flannery O'Connor, and G.K. Chesterton by the then priest at the center, who is still in, praise God, the priest at the center now, my friend, Father Chase Hilgenbrinck. And then I continue on talking about meeting Hilgenbrinck while Kate and I, my wife, we were professors, instructors at the University of Illinois. And I say, plus another Father Chase on the scene, Hilgenbrinck, cementing in my mind that naming one son Chase portains greatness of the highest degree, should they be called to the priesthood. To both Father Chases, the next and most heartfelt acknowledgments and gratitude, you're freaking legends, the two of you. To their parents, a toast, Pope Benedict-style beer mugs, raised skyward and clinked sufficiently until high-tide beer foam is on us, on them, and on you too. So, yeah, I like these guys a lot. Hilgenbrinck, yeah, right? Boston, and all the stuff that was going on in the church, whatever. And here's this guy who's 26 years old, who is just like, I mean, really, I don't want to overstate this, but he's absolute kind of poster boy for what people should do for vocations. Here's this young, successful, awesome, super cool guy, everything, has it all. And he retires at the apex of his career to become a priest. All these things are beautiful. So this is why we're talking about beauty today, vis-a-vis Jim Abbott and friends. First investigation, Father Chase Hilgenbrinck. Absolute legend. Who is this guy? Everyone knows in this room knows who this guy is, and everyone can attest to. Yeah, he's the man. But people watching like online, who is Father Chase Hilgenbrinck? Well, once more, I'll give you a kind of a prod. Go to vandalcatholic.com. Be familiar with our site. Go on there and you can find Barb your excellent question about the next class and syllabi, and all of you in the room who attend. You guys know when the classes are, but if anyone wants to come in person, are you welcome? Yes. Does it cost any money? No. Will I mock you in class if we become friends? Probably, but still come. Vandalcatholic.com. Here's the bio of our pastor, Father Chase Hilgenbrinck. I'm reading word for word. Father Hilgenbrinck is a man of many hobbies: road and trail running, road and mountain cycling, CrossFit training, reading, especially British and Russian classics, listening to music, and cooking and baking, mainly Italian and French. He has a serious interest in traveling to experience other cultures, and in linguistics, he has studied classical Latin and Greek, as well as Spanish, French, Italian, and German. Father Hilgenbrinck is originally from Cul-de-Sac, Idaho. For his studies, he went to Mount Angel Seminary in St. Benedict, Oregon, and then to the Pontifical North American College in Rome, Italy. 2010, he was ordained a priest for the Diocese of Boise. 2014, he returned to Rome to complete his license in fundamental theology at the Gregorian University. And as I mentioned earlier, he is currently working part-time as Doctor of Philosophy and Systematic Theology at the University of Oxford. I'm an Oxford man, University of Oxford, the top class, #1, etc. And so let me say, by starting off talking about Father Chase Hilgenbrinck, again, I'm saying things that everyone in this wonderful community who's privileged and blessed to have him lead us knows. But we need really good priests, and he is a good priest, praise God. We need good homilists. He is that. Good administrators and leaders and pastors, pastoring leading the flock, the sheep. He is all those things, thank God. But I would further say even more so, I love the Renaissance man that he is. That's the first incursion to this on beauty today's class. His love of languages, getting his PhD. I am most focusing on today's lecture on athletics in his road and trail running, road and mountain biking, and with CrossFit. It's not even a small thing. Like, he has an amazing CrossFit gym on campus at Vandal Catholic. And I know that recently one of the former football players, Ben Bertram, him and his brother Matthias Bertram, huge shout out to these guys, Ben and Matthias Bertram, also legends. Also, surprise, surprise, on theme for today, awesome Catholic guys. Ben Bertram was leading some kind of like lifting class. I know in the past, shout out to her, Lena Matz. She's been a one-time attendee at Maple Syrup stuff. Lena Matz had been like a coach doing CrossFit. So Father Hilgenbrinck right away, freaking awesome. Like, amazing pastor, all this kind of really interesting stuff, intellectual work, the ora et labora, athleticism plus intellectualism. What a beautiful combination. Our second investigation, from one Father Chase to another, Father Chase Hilgenbrinck. Some background on him. He's originally from Illinois, Central Illinois. That's already a huge positive. Now, as I said, both these Father Chases, I cannot speak highly enough. And so there's so much even more stuff about him that's super, super cool. That's already really cool. We need more people from Illinois, from the American heartland. He plays for the U.S. national team as a 17-year-old, the junior national team. And is a very, very kind of coveted high school recruit. Goes and plays at one of the coolest colleges in America, Clemson University, Clemson Tigers in the ACC. He has a really good career, the details of which I'm not 100% clear on. I don't want to say, oh, he was, 3-time all ACC, whatever. I think if I remember correctly from some of our conversations and etc., Clemson does very, very well in the ACC while he's there. He plays with a bunch of other good guys who like him, go on to have professional careers. I think maybe he said one time, again, forgive me if I'm misspeaking here, but that Clemson made it to like the Elite Eight, the final 8 teams, the national tournament, trying to win the national championship. It's a very, very good college. Clemson is in South Carolina. It's in the Piedmont region. So you have the University of South Carolina, the Gamecocks, that is Columbia. Clemson is northwest South Carolina, beautiful mountain country, lake country. It was recently voted the most beautiful college town in America. It's not far from Atlanta, Georgia, maybe like 2 hours, relatively not far, closer than we are to Seattle. Hilgenbrinck goes to play at Clemson. Afterwards, he goes, let me give you the facts on his life. His Clemson career is 2000 to 2003. He plays in Chile for 3 teams, Huachipato, Deportes Naval, and Nublense. And this is between 2004 and 2007. I know in Chile from listening to his interview in Spanish with Pepe Alonso, which is that's the clip that I opened this class with. You see later. How good is my Spanish? Not good. Not that good. How good is Father Hilgenbrinck's Spanish? I didn't know he was American when I heard him speak Spanish. His Spanish is amazing. 4 years in Chile, right? There's this awesome interview on ep.16-Jim with him and Pepe Alonso. And I'm so tempted to start speaking Spanish right now. I'm just going to do the rest of this in Spanish right now. I won't. But I want you to know that I want to. In that interview, Father Hilgenbrinck talks about winning a championship in Chile, winning a national title in this Chilean professional league. And that was kind of the moment that he realized, I want more out of life. Is this all I have in my life? It was amazing, right? I talk about a lot of people go on to whatever, and I hit rock bottom. No, he hit rock top. He summited the mountain. Like he was saying, lots of friends, all this kind of awesome stuff. Had a girlfriend, relationship with a woman in Chile and friends in Chile and family atmosphere, and wins the national championship. I think he was voted one of the best players in Chile. It makes the all-star team for the whole league. Everything's going rocky top, not bottom. And praise God, right? Because he gets to the top, and at that moment, it's oh, so I've achieved everything I ever wanted to achieve. I grew up with Michael Jordan posters at home, and Michael Jordan won championships, now I do. And we're going through the city center and this police escort, and it's really exciting and all this kind of stuff. And at that moment, in this interview, you should watch the interview. If you can speak Spanish, the majority of my maple syrup fans are Spanish speakers. Hola a todos mis amigos y muchas gracias de todos. If you can speak Spanish, we'll check out this interview with Father Hilgenbrinck and Pepe Alonso on ep.16-Jim, and he basically says already at that point he felt this pull to the vocation. Listen to him tell his story. I'm not going to tell his vocation story for him. He'll do a much better job, obviously. But something when he first got to Chile, before all this success, he's there for 4 years. Before summiting the mountain, he feels, I'm all alone in a foreign country, know no one. But his rock was the Catholic Church, right? He says, joking to Pepe Alonso in that interview, there's 2 things. They're the same all over the world. And that's the Catholic faith and football and soccer. The rules are the same. So, right, my sanctuary becomes I practice for 2 hours a day, and then I can go to church if I want. And he says, at one point he hears God tell him, in the silence of his heart. And again, you have to, the Knights of Columbus have an English interview about this too. But so I do not want to tell his story and mess up details. But something he's in the Chilean winter and he's in the chapel and he hears God tell him, be my priest. He hears that call. Was that an audible call or just, I'll let him tell that story. But he hears God, obviously calling him to the priesthood. And he puts that call off for a long time, has a lot of success. How cool is that? It's not God wants him to become a priest. So kind of Jonah style. Remember when Jonah wants to run from Nineveh, everything gets wrecked. I guess I'll do it. No, he gets all the good stuff. And out of that, Father Hilgenbrinck beautifully says, I achieved everything I ever wanted. And I thought, well, what's next? And now something higher. And he becomes a priest. Before he retires to become a priest, he, like I said, plays in Major League Soccer, the highest level of soccer in all of North America, playing for the Colorado Rapids and the New England Revolution. Um, 26 years old. Yeah, he's born in 1981, I think. Let me see. No, 1982. So he is currently what? He's 42 years old now. He was 26 when he walked away from his career. Our third person to look at, and again, right? First Father Chase, Hilgenbrinck. How does he relate to the good, the true, and the beautiful? Because it's awesome being a brilliant, genius Oxford man priest who also can deadlift a lot of weight, you know, does biking and trail running like mind and body. Father Chase Hilgenbrinck, how does he relate to the beautiful? Amazing vocation story, world-class athlete, gives it all to follow God. Who is Mike Sweeney? Mike Sweeney's a guy born in 1973, made his MLB debut for the Kansas City Royals, September 1995. Last played in 2010 for the Philadelphia Phillies. Long MLB career, 15 years. It's amazing. Hits almost 300 in his MLB career, 297, 215 home runs. He's a five-time All-Star, Kansas City Royal captain between 2003 and 2007, and inducted into the Kansas City Royals Hall of Fame. He's the guy who gave the speech with his wife by his side on EWTN in the opening credits of the show. Devout Catholic. He's a public Catholic, appears in political advertisements alongside people like Jim Caviezel, opposing embryonic stem cell research. He's the advisory chairman of the Catholic Athletes for Christ, spokesman for Life Team, the largest Catholic youth ministry program in the US. And on June 13, 2007, him and his wife, Shara, host a Lunch for Life, raising $60,000 for crisis pregnancy centers throughout Kansas City. He's often speaks to his, you know, to people about his Catholic faith. During what else is here? I'm sorry, I got kind of lost here for a second. Oh, yeah, my bad, guys. I got totally lost off and just drifted away into a story. When fires forced Sweeney and his family to evacuate their home in Rancho Santa Fe, he states in a report on MLB.com that of the things that he took out of the house when him and his wife and family have to flee these forest fires in California are 3 wedding photographs, birth certificates, and 2 pictures of his children with Pope Benedict. Sweeney, speaking of today's underlying hidden rubric, is Spanish. Sweeney's a fluent speaker of Spanish. I remember talking about being a cool captain. Had someone said Sweeney learned Spanish to communicate with a lot of the kind of Latin American players on his team. I don't have to tell anyone. Latin America is very well represented in baseball. Some of the best baseball players in the world come from the Dominican Republic. A lot of good players from Mexico, all throughout the Spanish-speaking world. That's a great thing for a captain to do. I'm a father figure of this team. What a great example he sets for Christ above all. Raising money for crisis pregnancy centers. I'm not ashamed of my faith. Going out doing ads for pro-life. Daily mass or rosary. I mean, I'm sure he's affecting people, athletes of Bible studies in the Royals. I'm sure you know things that are not reported that God alone sees and repays him. But even on that level, like I want to be able to communicate with my teammates, all that kind of stuff. He's named the good guy in sports by the Sporting News for back-to-back years in 2003 and 2004 for a lot of his kind of charitable stuff. And here's a great example. Sweeney buys a dirt field in a really poor area of Kansas City that was used for drug dealing, basically. And now it's a baseball field. It's called Sweeney Family Field. So maybe these kids have nothing to do. I'm going to do bad stuff. Now are becoming baseball players because of this man's philanthropy. He's also known as a very, very nice guy, which is not a small thing. If he was a really mean guy and whatever, okay, that's too bad. He still does good stuff. Thank God he's, you know, pro-life and he's a great example of the faith. He's kind of a mean person. No, he's a really nice person. Would say, you know, spend a bunch of time after signing autographs for kids, all that kind of nice old school stuff that I wish our society had more of in our very coarse kind of mean society. Finally, guys, James Anthony Abbott, kind of our star of today's show. My heart, my brotherly fist bump love is with 2 Father Chases. Of the 4 people that I know today, I only know the 2 Father Chases. I do not know Mike Sweeney or Jim Abbott. So my favorite personalities today of the show are both Father Chases. I love baseball very much. So you might say, oh, you like Mike Sweeney the most. Yeah, I like Mike Sweeney a lot. Jim Abbott is also a baseball player, really the star of the show today. His overcoming of personal tragedy, and that is tragic to be born without one hand. to become an amazing athlete is really a beautiful thing. It is on the nose of beauty. Born in 1967, he's the oldest guy. We worked back with decades. That was awesome. Both Bar Chases are born in the 80s, Sweeney in the 70s, Jim Abbott 1960s, and I was born in 1921. So, we worked backwards all the way. Yeah, by the way, guys, happy birthday. Today's my birthday, my 103rd birthday. People tell me I look great for 103. I look amazing for 103. Yeah. He played in Major League Baseball for Jim Abbott did. The California Angels, the New York Yankees, Chicago White Sox, Milwaukee Brewers. Like I said earlier, 80s and 90s, from 89 to 99. He graduates from Flint Central High School in Flint, Michigan. And he attends the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. He's a Michigan man. Today's a lot of cool ties today, guys. Freaking sweet. I'm not saying Michigan is Oxford, but University of Michigan Ann Arbor is a very good school. It's a top 10 school. So the Ivy League, public Ivy, it's an amazing school. To be a Michigan man, that's a big deal too. So Oxford man, Michigan man, a lot of Catholic stuff. We're crushing today. This episode is freaking absolutely lit, as the kids say. This is lit. He attends, no, actually don't say lit, they say groovy. This is a groovy episode. He attends the University of Michigan and he wins the James E. Sullivan Award as the nation's best amateur athlete and wins a gold medal at the Summer Olympics next year. This guy has one hand, he doesn't care. He's at University of Michigan, wins best amateur athlete. He wins best amateur athlete for, people, blah, blah, blah. No, best amateur athlete, period. Not best amateur athlete, special category. Like best, the guy has one hand and he's dominating people that do not have this limitation. So my question to you is, what excuse do you have? Why did you not work out today? Why did you not go for your run? Why did you not go lift? Excuse me, like you have both hands? You can walk, right? This guy challenges this in this very beautiful way, does he not? He has one hand. He doesn't care. He's not stopped by that. He's drafted in the first round of the MLB draft and reaches the major leagues next year. What a stud. That is hard. That is really hard. I think the drafts have been whittled down now. There used to be like endless MLB drafts. I think there was like a huge number, like even like 90 rounds. For a long time, the MLB draft was set at 50 rounds. He's drafted first in the first round. That's how good he is. The New York Yankees are not drafting him because they feel sorry for him or whatever. He's really freaking good at pitching, right? You might be unsurprised to learn that he works today as a motivational speaker, and that really makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of people that should not be motivational speakers. He is one that probably should be, right? You probably do really want to hear his story. What else to hear? What else to talk about here? About Abbott. He leads them to two Big Ten Conference championships. Watt, Michigan, wins the top amateur athlete award. He's actually the flag bearer for the United States, the 1987 Pan American Games in Indianapolis. He's voted Big Ten Athlete of the Year in 1988, a year before he makes the major leagues. Big Ten Athlete of the Year, like all sports, soccer, volleyball, football, everything, basketball. The University of Michigan retires his jersey in 2009, and in 2007, he was elected to the College Baseball Hall of Fame. Abbott, right off the bat, in 1991, having reached the major leagues the year after he leaves Michigan. So in 1991, he's still a very young man, 24 years old, kid in the major league still. He goes 18 and 11 for the Angels, 18 wins, 11 losses, posts the fourth lowest ERA, earned run average in the American League, 2.89. Anything sub 3 is exceptional. And he pitches 243 innings. He finishes third in the AL Cy Young Award voting. That's incredible. The Cy Young is the MLB pitching Nobel Prize. It is just the MVP. If you win the Cy Young, you're the best pitcher in professional baseball in the entire world. So a guy with one hand, as a 24-year-old kid, is the third best pitcher, is the bronze medal best pitcher alive in the world. I mean, this is incredible. Praise Jesus Christ. When preparing to pitch the ball, Abbott would rest his glove on the end of his right forearm. After releasing the ball, he would quickly slip his hand into the glove, usually in time to field any balls that a two-handed pitcher would be able to field. Then he would secure the glove between his right forearm and torso, slip his hand out of it, and remove the ball from it, usually in time to throw out the runner at first, or sometimes even start a double play. At all levels, teams tried to exploit his fielding disadvantage by repeatedly bunting on him. And I love that, by the way. That's exactly what I imagine Abbott would love. No, don't give me special treatment. Oh, you're not gonna butt this guy against, no, he's like, yeah, I have one hand, right? Like this guy literally was like, I'll fight you. I'm using scare quotes, like boxing analogy. Let's fight straight up. And I'll just fight with one arm. Like you can butt on me, it's fine. Like, do whatever you guys want to do. Do whatever you have to do.
Wouldn't you have to catch it?
Transfer, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then reach under.
Yeah, he got really good at doing that. Imagine a double play, back to the mound. He's running up first. I'm pitching. Ground ball back to me. I catch it, throw it, just boom, quick transfer, throw to second, shortstop or second baseman catches it, throws to first base. He got really good. You have little limited time to do that, right? Even a normal speed guy can run from home plate to first base in about 4 seconds. You have very little time to catch, throw, back. He got really good at catching immediate transfer, whatever. He got so good at it that was his life. So for him, you think if we had a stub for an arm, it would be very difficult and debilitating. For him, it was normal, right? For him, you can almost say like he was so good, he might be like, well, all humans are like this. All humans have a left arm and like a stub. Like he was that good, right? Like it was not a disability for him. In 1999, he had 2 hits in 21 at bats, both off of John Lieber. That's amazing. Pitchers don't usually bat in the American League. They don't. They have a designated hitter. But back then, especially in the National League, pitchers would hit. So you have to hit once in a while. The guy got 2 hits off major league pitchers with one arm. This is unbelievable. Okay, go to the batting cages. Go to the batting cages somewhere and set it to like 95 miles an hour and see if you can just make contact with 2 hands. Probably a lot of people are not even gonna hit the ball, right? But that's 95 miles an hour down the middle. A major league pitcher throws 95 with movement, curveballs, whatever, and he's doing it with one hand, and he actually gets 2 base hits. It's insane. Mariano Rivera, New York teammates Mariano Rivera, he's the greatest closer of all time. Mariano Rivera says this about Abbott, that he witnessed him hitting home runs during batting practice with one arm. This is so freaking cool, man. So anyways, closing up really the episode. God bless all these 4 inspirational men. I hope we take inspiration from these characters that we read about in our whole beauty class and strive to be more like them and ultimately more like Christ. And try to emulate the beauty of these men and all of our biographical focal points, we too can grow ever closer to he who is beauty himself. This is what the Mount Carmel Church of Christ says about Jim Abbott. Actually, a final quote before him, if I read that. His disability, unsurprisingly, right, inspires him to outwork everyone. Quote, as a kid, I really wanted to fit in. Sports became a way for me to gain acceptance. I think this fueled my desire to succeed. I truly believe that difficult times and disappointments can push us to find abilities and strength we wouldn't know existed without the experience of struggle. That's incredible. That's an incredible quote. I might finish the class with that quote again. I might come back to that quote. That's a really powerful quote. From Mount Carmel Church of Christ, again, I don't know what Jim Abbott's personal religious views are. I assume he's Christian. Don't assume. I don't know. I think maybe he's even a Catholic. I don't know. Remember, I know, like I said again, Bo Jackson is not a Catholic. He's a Protestant Christian. This beauty class is not, although we are a Catholic center, I am a Catholic, Spano Catholic. Everything St. Justin Martyr famously said, I couldn't agree, fist bump to him. Whatever is true is ours. Catholicism, universal truth. Jesus Christ is the one Lord and Savior of all mankind. So anything good, it belongs to Christ. We can talk about whatever. I know 100% both Father Chase's and Mike Sweeney are devout practicing Catholics. I don't know about Jim Abbott. Is he a member of this Mount Carmel Church of Christ? I don't know. But they have a cool thing on their website about him. And talks about him being a very accomplished pitcher, blah, 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 all his biographical details then. Now, this is all extremely impressive, but there is something else that makes Jim Abbott unlike any other pitcher. He had a severe disadvantage, only one hand. Despite his disability, he was still able to accomplish incredible feats. Abbott was able to work through these challenges and become an extremely good pitcher. Even with all of this, what really caught my attention was a quote from Abbott. He said, "It's not the disability that defines you. It's how you deal with the challenges the disability presents you with. We have an obligation to the abilities we do have, not the disability." Yeah, I'm going to finish the class with those 2 quotes for sure. I'm almost basically done. Abbott had a great view of himself. He chose to use the abilities he did have instead of focusing on his limitations. Likewise, every person has abilities to use for the Lord. But many times we focus on our limitations and let our disabilities keep us from using our talents. We make excuses. Whether we have physical, emotional, or spiritual challenges that hold us back, this does not mean we cannot accomplish wonderful things for the Lord. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? There are countless opportunities for a person to serve God. God simply wants us to use the talents he has given us. Let's not focus on what we can't do for the Lord. Let's focus on what we can. 1 Peter 4:10 captures this idea well, quote, as each one has received a special gift, employed in serving one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. What are some talents of ours? What's holding us back from using these for the Lord? Let's take a page out of Jim Abbott's life. Not any disability or challenge define us, but let the way we deal with our challenges and the way we use our abilities for the Lord be what define us. Amen. Praise God. What a beautiful reflection from those guys. And the video, Jim Abbott famously throws a no-hitter against the Cleveland Indians. That was the opening video that I had for you. What is a no-hitter? For anyone who doesn't know, some people might not know. Some people are just not true Americans who don't know like baseball, you know? I mean, that's the citizenship test I would give to all people. Do you love America or not? How many strikes does a batter get before he's out? If you have 2 strikes and you foul a ball off, what happens? What happens if you hit 9 foul balls? What is a foul ball? I would ask baseball questions. And if you don't know the right answer, you obviously hate America and you hate democracy. What is a no-hitter? A no-hitter means when the other team records no hits throughout the game. That doesn't mean they don't reach base. That's called a perfect game. It's even harder. A perfect game is when all 27 men have been retired, have been out, either struck out or they popped out. But hypothetically, a pitcher could hit 2 batters. That's an automatic free base. Walk 2 batters, throw 4 balls, and have another guy commit like an error, you know, field a ground ball, throw it, and 5 guys reach base and still gets a no-hitter. But still, no-hitter is still, while not as hard as a perfect game, it is absolutely crazy hard. And Jim Abbott no-hits the Cleveland Indians. And that's the opening video that I have, very beautiful video. All his teammates swarmed him and stuff. And it shows, you'll see if you watch later online, everyone watching online now, thank you for supporting our work. You've already seen it. It's that opening thing when he pitches, you see him switch the glove. It's just a cool kind of clip. All right. I'm going to close like I promised. I'm actually going to splice this later and open up with this again. I'm going to like quadruple dip this, forget double dip. I'm going to close with the 2 Jim Abbott quotes again. It's not the disability that defines you. It's how you deal with the challenges the disability presents you with. We have an obligation to the abilities we do have, not the disability. As a kid, I really wanted to fit in. Sports became a way for me to gain acceptance. I think this fueled my desire to succeed. I truly believe that difficult times and disappointments can push us to find abilities and strengths we wouldn't know existed without the experience of struggle. End quote, Jim Abbott.